Have you been thinking to run a home business presentation, but don't quite know how to do that? In today's video, I'm going to share with you the 3 phases of an effective and winning home business presentation. Hey Pyjama Bosses, this is Masha, and in today's video, I'm about to share with you how to create the ultimate pajama party. You know what I mean? Home business presentations, whether you like it or not, are the core of network marketing still today. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't succeed without running home business presentations, but I certainly believe you'll be way faster if you actually implement them on a weekly basis in your network marketing business. So people ask me, Masha, what does a home business presentation in the 21st century with all the technology we have, what does it look like and what are some of the things we have to do? And I divide it into 3 phases. The first phase is actually welcoming people in. And that means, that is the time. Usually we set aside half an hour. If we invite people to come at 7, we will actually start the presentation at 7:30. So we set aside 30 minutes where we actually are available for prospects that are arriving to make sure we start building the relationship with them. And also this phase is super important because it's actually the first step of your closing process. This is super important, and I'll share more in the closing stage. So the welcoming stage is super important. Make sure you welcome people in and creating relationships and asking lots of questions so that you know how to answer their questions later. Now, the second phase is, of course, the presentation itself. It's actually giving the information. So at this point, if you're not experienced presenting, I suggest you just play a recorded video, and certainly your company or your upline support team will already have a tool that you can use. So don't reinvent the wheel if you're not an expert yet. Just use a tool, and then perhaps after the presentation, get an upline support leader that has a bit of a success story already to dial in and actually validate the meeting. So that's the presentation stage. And then the last stage of the home business presentation is where you're collecting all the fruits. And that's, of course, the closing stage. In this stage, when the presenting is over, it is very important you just don't send people home. At this point, make sure that whoever is the speaker presenting says, if you have any questions, please get back to the person that's invited you here today and get all your questions answered to make the best decision for yourself. At this point, you need to have trained your members in your audience. And if you're the only member, if you're the only distributor in the audience, this is the time that you go to all the prospects and follow up and answer all their questions. This is also the time that you use the information you collected in the welcoming stage and you put it into action. For example, before you told me that you really want to quit your job and would like to have a way of creating an income from home, so what do you like best from what you've heard so far? So you're linking their desires, their goals, the reason whys with what they've just heard. And this becomes a much more powerful way of getting them to make a decision right there on the spot. You also, in this stage, need to be prepared to place orders. So make sure you have internet connection. Make sure you have, computers and phones ready to actually get people started right there and then. So these are the 3 stages of an effective home business presentation, what I call the ultimate pajama party. In fact, Miguel and I have done so many of these, and especially when we first got started with our current company, we did over 200 home business presentations in a span of 9 months. Needless to say, we learned 1 or 2 lessons, and we put all of these lessons into a video training program called, yes, you guessed it, the Ultimate Pajama Party. And in a second, I'm going to give you a link, and I suggest that if you want to go deeper into this topic and really understand how to run an effective presentation and how to actually duplicate them in your team to grow a 6-figure business, I suggest you go and check it out, and I'll see you on the other side.